This week was supposed to be my Animal Crossing Island tour, but it's not done. Next week, probably. So earlier this week, I posted a seemingly innocuous tweet asking for music-related questions, and I said I would explain later, and this is later. So in the tour video, I showed you the very large empty space that's over here. I wanted something that gave off the same vibe as Barely Breathing by Duncan Sheik. I am barely breathing, and I can't find the air. Anytime I hear it or watch the video, I just feel better. And I just wanted that sort of vibe in my craft room because this is my creative space and this is somewhere where I want to feel, I don't know, encouraged in a way by anything to work or just make art, because that's when I feel most like myself. So I'm not going to try to do an exact shot recreation from the video. I'm basically just going to take the colors from the opening sequence and try to incorporate them into an abstract painting. So I'm going to try to replicate it in a way that is not exact but still gives off the same vibe. But I will admit that I 100% do not know what I'm doing right now, because I'm going to attempt 2 things that I have never actually done before. Actually 3 things, I guess, technically, since I'm answering questions for the internet. I'm going to try to do a painting that is very large, but also abstract, while answering questions. Before I do anything else, thank you to everybody who sent in questions, because I was not prepared. I didn't even look at the tweet until today, and I found out how many questions there were. And I was very excited. Because honestly, I love music every bit as much as I love crafts. So being able to put those 2 things together in a video, I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm actually not going to use paintbrushes for this. I'm going to try to use these. In addition to that, I bought some heavy body acrylics because I don't actually have any anymore. Basically, the only colors that are involved in those shots is green and blue and maybe a little bit of yellow. I did also buy a thickening gel that I can use with my other paints in case I don't like these or in case I run out of those, because this is a very large canvas. It's 36 by 36. And believe it or not, I did actually measure the wall this time to make sure that I bought the correct canvas size, because I did not want to make that mistake. This is about to be an adventure and a half. Let's go. There's so many. If I was gonna cheat, I'd just say pretty much every Third Eye Blind or Black Keys album. I feel like I should be more specific. Definitely Yield. Probably Backspacer also. I think most Black Keys or Third Eye Blind albums are in this category for me because, yeah, I don't find myself skipping songs unless we're talking like El Camino or Turn Blue. So sorry if those are your favorites, but they are not mine. I wouldn't put them in the same category as something like Thick Freakness or Rubber Factory or Chulahoma, Let's Rock, or the Moan EP. Like, all of those are on the list, 100%. For Third Eye Blind, the Blue album, Audio Slave, Out of Exile, I would say the self-titled, but there are a couple singles on there that I don't tend to re-listen to. Wildflowers as well. Soundgarden would probably be Super Unknown. Pretty much any Ramones album. I don't skip any, I just listen to all of them. I feel like for sure in high school, In Utero was like one of my favorite albums, period. It's so good. Another one would definitely be The Color and the Shape. And then also In Your Honor. When that came out, I listened to it every day. Three-Legged Fox, Not As Far. I would probably say Always Anyway and We Are Electric also, but yeah, we could be here all day for just this one question, but I don't want to Kevin Smith this too much if I can possibly help it. I don't think picking a genre is good for you. if that makes sense, because you're gonna miss so many good things. I guess technically you could get by if you went by like the broadest definition of a genre, like you only listen to rock music or you only listen to pop music or whatever. But even then, I think you're still missing out on a lot of really great songs and artists and albums that you may not have realized you would have liked had you given it a chance. I have several. When I was a kid, I played so many video games, and a lot of those were because of the soundtracks. So the original Tony Hawk games, Jazz Jackrabbit 2, like if you haven't heard the Jazz Jackrabbit soundtracks or played them, they're so good. They're PC games, so you can download them, I'm sure, still. Pretty much any game that involved driving always seemed to have a really good soundtrack. I think it was the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 soundtrack that had Hot Action Cop on it. That's one of those bands that I'm kind of bummed we haven't heard from in a while, to be honest. If you like Alien Ant Farm, you will probably like Hot Action Cop. It's gonna be so hard to just pick one, because obviously Pearl Jam, but also Tom Petty. I have a lot, honestly. I'm actually gonna make a playlist. If I've made it already, I'll put the link here. I wanted to try to put like all of my favorite songs or songs that I feel like if you haven't heard yet, you need to hear them, so there's those. It's definitely Blue, but I also like Very Ape, Scentless Apprentice, Francis Farmer. I think probably as far as favorite Nirvana albums, Bleach and In Utero for me. I don't think I have any, to be honest. I just listen to everything, and I don't really, there might be some songs on that playlist that you would not have had any idea before that I would have liked or listened to repeatedly, but I do. I feel like that's gotta be very mentally taxing to feel like you can't share your interests with people. Listen to everything. Don't feel bad about it. There's probably a lot, honestly. I really haven't talked about music or anything really too much, which is part of why I wanted to do this, because I feel like, for the most part, what you guys know as of now is that I like Pearl Jam. But I listen to pretty much everything. Blues music, generally rock music, pretty much anything from the 90s, which includes heavily and especially alt rock and R&B and 90s one-hit wonder pop singles. Very heavily into that particular moment in time where just all these groups were coming out. Probably not that surprising because you've seen me wear NSYNC and Backstreet Boys shirts, but S Club 7, Spice Girls, obviously. Spice World was an incredible movie, and I could go on about that forever, but I won't. I grew up in the South, so it makes sense. There's so many good random 90s country songs that are just, I can't explain them to you, but I'll put them on the playlist, I promise. Yeah, 90s country music, but also OG Hank Williams era country music. George Jones, Loretta Lynn, Dolly, obviously. Not really surprising, but I still listen to a lot of the music that I listened to when I was 13, which is Fall Out Boy, Sugar Cult, Papa Roach, Hello Goodbye, Something Corporate. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, I could definitely add the North album to the albums that are good all the way through. If you've never listened to North by Something Corporate, you're welcome in advance. Maybe bands like UB40, Three-Legged Fox, Stick Figure, Pepper, Iration. I was really into reggae music for a while there. There's probably several answers to this question, but currently Shine a Little Light by Black Keys, because there's just something about that song. I don't know, it's the guitar is just flawless. In Hiding. If you've never listened to that song, I highly recommend just finding an empty room in your house and turning it on as loud as you possibly can and just hear it. I don't know. I feel like A close second would definitely be Life Wasted, though. I just feel like the way that he says this particular line. I feel like by default, I would have to go with my favorite song in the entire world, which is this. It just has a lot of sentimental value to me. If you know what the song is from, you're probably laughing right now. This song was on the George of the Jungle soundtrack. This is the part where Ursula's dancing. And I don't know, ever since I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, oh, this is my favorite song forever. Okay, cool. Immediately, my brain went to 50 First Dates. Besides 50 First Dates, I would say probably Tank Girl, Empire Records, the Batman soundtrack, because Prince. I would definitely put the Duets soundtrack in there. It's a fantastic movie if you've never seen it, by the way. Huey Lewis is just, he's Huey Lewis. What else do I need to say? I feel like it would be very unfair to not include the Tarzan soundtrack because Phil Collins is just incredible. Oh, that's so difficult. I feel like probably the Black Keys. They did the Edwyn Collins cover. Never met a girl like you before. Which was on the Empire Records soundtrack. So, favorite Fugazi song? Waiting Room. Like, without question, that is. The entire 13 songs album is amazing, but Waiting Room. Pearl Jam's worst song. Would I say that it's their worst song? I don't know. But for me, I feel like I'm probably in the minority, but I don't listen to Jeremy. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't. Valerie, the Amy Winehouse cover. I kind of go back and forth between the original, the Zootons, and then the Amy Winehouse cover. They're both so good, but so different. I would say probably Fuel, which I think 15-year-old me would be very disappointed in. They were, without question, my favorite band in junior high going into high school. Yeah, I dyed my hair like that. I don't want to talk about it. But lately I have been going back and listening to them because they are fantastic, or they were, I guess. We don't acknowledge the not Brett Scallion's albums in this house. I feel like Something Like Human is definitely their best work, but I have a lot of feelings for Sunburn though. I wouldn't say these are in any particular order, but Everclear, So Much for the Afterglow, Black Keys, Thick Freakness, Soundgarden, Super Unknown, Too Tough to Die, Third Eye Blind, Blue, maybe either Happiness Is Not a Fish That You Can Catch or Navid, or also possibly Gravity. 3 Our Lady Peace albums that I love so much. I've been getting back into 80s pop music a lot lately. So Erasure, When in Rome, this song by E.G. Daily. Never know if you're the victim of a fool. Only know I can't stop thinking about you. Just anything that's like very upbeat, I guess. Late 90s, early 2000s pop groups like S Club 7, Bewitched, 5. Does anybody else remember 5? And then from there, I kind of fell down this somewhat rabbit hole of Disney Channel original movie soundtracks. This weird subsection of music that's like... Zoom, zoom, zoom. Sooner or later. Hey now, hey now. Fall Out Boy, 100%. If you have never listened to the Take This to Your Grave album, do it immediately. So many, but it's always at super specific and weird times. The most recent one I can remember, I was in a thrift store, and Where the River Flows started playing. And And it was just so jarring that I just kind of froze for a minute. I was like, is this actually happening? All right. Is it even? While I don't necessarily know if this is a good painting, I know that I had just entirely too much fun painting it, so that must be why people do abstract art, honestly, because you have fun and nobody can tell you it's bad. Genius. But even if it's not 100% what I was trying to do, it's a nice memory because I got to hang out with you guys and answer questions and talk about music and paint a thing, so I'm calling it a win, I don't care. If you're feeling super bored at home, I highly recommend trying this because honestly, there's something about just moving the paint around with a palette knife that's just really fun, so. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed doing this. And I'll see you guys in the next one with probably the Animal Crossing island tour that I've been avoiding because my island's still not finished. But thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I will see you next time.